Q2 deliveries blow away estimates, and the numbers actually better than expected in several unexpected ways. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the show, like better ideas on investing and trading, please join us on Patreon. So I have to say, I'm in utter shock right now. There's a whole bunch of data, including the sales at Hertz, that should have crushed or destroyed Tesla's numbers, and that was not the case. So that's what we're reviewing today quickly as the market opens and Tesla's up $10 at $220 a share, heading for 230 is where we're at. And by the time the 3-day rule hits, I expect us to enter the 340 to 350 realm because of how well they're doing. So I wanted to read something in really quickly here. If you go to Yahoo Finance under Tesla, it says from Business Wire, in the second quarter, we produced approximately 411,000 vehicles and delivered approximately 444,000 vehicles. We deployed 9.4 gigawatt hours of energy storage products in Q2, the highest quarterly deployment yet. Tesla will post its financial results for the second quarter of 2024 after market close on Tuesday, the 23rd of July, 2024. So, holy smoke. Wow. Now, the reason I say that is that what I expected to happen was the fact that there were large numbers of Hertz vehicles being sold at discount prices. Tesla was actually competing with itself. So if those Hertz cars weren't being sold, at least 20,000 of them were sold, maybe even 30, 35,000. And so if you add in those numbers of sales, the success of Tesla for the quarter is off the charts. And I think that'll really show up in terms of heavy buying of the stock for the next several days. Obviously, today is strong. After the numbers came out 9 Eastern, we started seeing the stock accelerate. So all I got to say is there's going to be a lot of what happened here, because as late as last week, we were seeing a whole bunch of stuff about the fact that there are so many piled up cars in inventory that you could see them from space. That inventory was largely left over from the last quarter because sales were actually down. So what's going on here? The answer is, I can't say I have the answer. I mean, obviously the vehicles have sold. They're predominantly Model Ys and Model 3s, and the numbers moved well. I will say that I've done a few test drives, so I have a lot of regular things that hit the box, like discounts on leasing the vehicle, test drive specials, all kinds of ways that Tesla has been working to boost what the production and sales numbers were for the quarter have been going on. But I have to say, this is a huge surprise. And one wonders, is this a ongoing phenomenon of Tesla exceeding expectations, or is this a blip? The answer is we don't know, but let's just enjoy it while it's happening. Now, overall, I'd have to say that there's a lot of unanswered questions here. Was there a lot of heavy discounting? Yeah, there was definitely discounting. Was it heavy enough that Tesla didn't make good money on those cars? The key number that we're going to watch for when earnings come out is, how did the quarterly earnings look? Are we on the rise? The answer, I believe, is probably yes. And the reason is that lithium prices are down dramatically, the primary battery cost component for Tesla. And because of those lower lithium prices, the trajectory on Tesla's numbers was actually up on percentage of earnings. So this is by and far a huge miracle. Congratulations to Tesla, Elon, and the rest of the team. Way to go. For all of you who are long holders of Tesla, congratulations. I just got off the phone with a friend who was shorting Tesla pretty heavily. Now, there are some old folks like I've only been around the stock market for 40 years, 35 years or so. And so I've learned to see things. But the question I want to ask you is, is this insider trading? And the reason I say that is that we all know the negative pressure that was hitting Tesla right now. And how in the world on Friday did Tesla stock jump over 200? And then I frankly was expecting the stock to probably end the day in the 175 territory after these numbers. And instead of doing that yesterday, the stock was actually up above 213. So what does that tell you? It tells you insider trading. Somebody knew what those numbers were before they came out. And the answer is that allowed a small group of people to make a killing here because they knew what those numbers were going to look like because the entire market was hunting for a southbound Tesla stock. So for those of you who did that, congrats. I don't, you know, I think it's unbelievable what's happening. We'll find out if there's follow through from this into the next quarter because if there is, Tesla's between a $250 and $300 stock if that's the case. You'll notice also that Elon decided to emphasize the growth of the grid scale electricity deployments that he's doing with the megapacks, especially with all the semis going in. I think there's going to be a lot of these pieces of equipment deployed. So I just think that it's hard to frame what's going on because we've been seeing a decline in both revenue and profit over the last 3 quarters. And now we're seeing the opposite. Is this a temporary phenomenon or is it an ongoing sort of turnaround of the business in terms of what's going on? The answer is we don't know. The other answer that we do have is that we know that Tesla's cut headcount by 14%, but still exceeded on the sales. So this also suggests then that Tesla's overall cost structure is lower while selling more cars, which means better numbers to the bottom line in terms of profit. So all I got to say is I'm really thrilled. I'm nervous because if the analysts dive in and find some miracle cure that's not sustainable, we could see a pullback to where we were. But if that doesn't happen, you know, there's no doubt it's a 230 stock. The question is it a 250 stock in the next 2 weeks? And the answer is there's a lot of good reasons why that might occur. So again, congratulations to Tesla on deliveries of 444,000 when they Hertz sold 30 to 40,000 Teslas at a deep discount. Mind-blowing. So congratulations again. We look forward to your comments on this. Also want to remind you of our health tips. Please take time to do your 20-minute walk today, as well as 25 leg lifts per leg. Also reminder, 70% of the doctors we surveyed, about 200, are all doing some sort of fasting. I encourage you to join that as well. And finally, don't forget the kidney doc's recommendation, once a week max for fried foods. And also keep in mind that trying to do 2 or 3 days a week worth of veggies is going to be big time helpful to your kidneys. Once again, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks again for joining us. Let's go Tesla.